Hey World Division fans, this is Nashtaters, and welcome back to another episode of World Divisions. In today's episode, I want to talk about what's available in the shop, and those +5 items are very tempting to a lot of players. I want to go over the value of those items, and is the Dark Glove worthy of your time? Now, just because something's available in the shop and is right in front of you for purchase, it doesn't mean you should buy them. And that's what we're going to be going into in terms of, are they going to add a lot of power to your account, and are they worthy of the 2,000 Visiors? So before we start in the shop, let's talk a little bit of house cleaning. We reached 1,000 subscribers, so I want to thank everybody for the continuous support, and of course anyone who has actually supported this channel, even if they unsubscribed from this channel, because even when you did subscribe, it showed that you were willing to give me a chance. Now hopefully more people can actually start playing this game if they've been walking away from the game, perhaps to give this game a second chance. We have a lot of exciting content creators right now that is working pretty hard to cover this game, and I hope that people really just take the time to support all the different content creators for this game. In the future, I do hope to make a 1,000 subscriber special video, which I do have a lot of ideas brewing for, and of course there's some potential giveaways for that, so look forward to that. Now let's go ahead and get into the shop. I think the most important takeaway from this week's shop items is the fact that you have to really ask yourself, just because something is put in front of you and is being offered, do you really need to buy them, right? Is it worth your time? And that's ultimately what this is all about. Asking you to spend your resources is essentially what this game is designed to do every single day. And this week is no different. The Dark Gloves currently is being offered in the shop for 2,000 Visiors. But you have to really ask yourself, is this really worth your hard-earned resources? I understand and appreciate why the company is allowing us to purchase the Dark Gloves +5 in the shop. Most likely for people who have maybe not enough time this week to farm, this is a straight up solid option so you don't miss out. The other thing is, if you don't actually have a Garble, in my opinion, there's no real reason to actually buy it. You should just pretty much better off farming it. And there's another reason why you should farm it over spending your Visiors. Currently, the game is offering you to earn medals from the quest. And if you earn enough medals, you can exchange it in the mock shop for really good stuff. So there's, in my opinion, no real reason to buy this, unless, of course, you don't have the time to actually farm this week. If you ideally are farming, you want to gain a lot of recipes, a lot of materials to go ahead and craft the Dark Gloves. And this is even for players who actually do not own Garble, because you never know. In the future, most likely, we're probably going to see some of the older units that will get the special treatment, like the ones we saw in Valentine's, Christmas, and the Winter Edition characters. Essentially what that means is we may see another Energist coming into the game later on. So it's kind of a sort of a worthy investment if you have the time to farm for the items. And of course, many items in this game share the same crafting materials, so you're never going to be technically speaking at a loss. Now let's go ahead and take a look at all the stats for the Dark Glove. Let's take a look at the Dark Gloves. The Dark Gloves obviously is a weapon, believe it or not. Now let's take a look at the stats. As you can see, there is Magic, Aim, and Critical. Magic will have 178 magical power, but the rest of the stats are not really worthy of mentioning. Aim, you will get 15 accuracy, 124 magic, and of course Critical, you will gain 142 and 12 critical. Personally, I concur with Ultima.jp that the recommended type is Magic, because in this case you want to go for the maximum power in terms of magical for Garble, because after all, he is a caster. And if you decide that you want to go for Aim or Critical, just bear in mind you pretty much are probably going to be better off trying to gain those stats from either your accessory or your armor sets. Next, I want to talk about the Golden Armor and the Golden Helm, and finally I will end this video with the Golden Blade. So the Golden Armor, as you can see, has a lot of negative stats, but if you manage to max all these stats, you're going to get -1, -2, and -3 in these 3 categories, and your resistance you're going for here obviously is going to be slash attack. My personal suggestion is this is a pretty good armor set if you can deal with the fact that it has a lot of negatives. But because this is placed on a tank, some of these don't really make that much of a difference. So if you're needing a slash resistance armor and you're simply lacking the units to farm it on your own, or you're lacking some sort of really powerful unit in terms of farming for multiplayer, this is something to be contemplating about. As I mentioned before in my previous videos recommending +5 items from the shop, if you're a new player and you have a lot of Visiors, but you don't have a lot of units, investing in equipment for the units that you are building or have already built is actually a better investment than to spread out your resources building more units. And the reason being is you can actually conquer a lot of the content in this game simply by having, say, 5 to 10 units. And making sure those 5 to 10 units are strong in terms of gear, vision cards, and espers most likely could be more important than just having, say, 20 units with lackluster equipment and such. So the golden helm, like a lot of helms in this game, offer missile attack resistance. And it's actually pretty solid at 8. But is this something really worthy of building at this point in time, especially for those players who are thinking about buying it? Personally, I don't really enjoy the golden helm because missile resistance is kind of like hit or miss. Most of the time, you're not going to be dealing with missile attackers. In PvE, most of the time, the vision cards and the espers alone should have you covered in terms of equipping your tanks with it. Now, obviously, this will not hurt your team if you have this to be placing on your tanks, or maybe even some units who just use heavy armor. But personally, I definitely don't think this is worth 2,000 Visiors, because a lot of time you're probably going to have something else better to put into the armor slot. Finally, let's end this with the Golden Blade +5. The only thing I can say is only a few units in this game use two-handed weapons, the Greatsword. However, most of those units who use them are actually quite good. So this weapon is definitely, in my honest opinion, a must farm. But is it a must buy? And the answer, in my opinion, is no, because currently the game is offering you this option to farm it. Again, the only thing I can say is if you simply do not have the time, but you have the Visiors to do so, it is not a bad option. Because remember, my biggest emphasis for my channel and life in general is that time is your most valuable resource. If you can actually spend time to work and make money, you can actually straight out buy things in the game. But if you're free to play, time could be the resource that you need to take advantage in terms of using, because most likely you have to play the game much more than people who are spending this game. So if you value time a lot less, then I suggest just farm it. But if you value time a lot more, then I highly suggest perhaps just to buy it outright. Alright, that's all the time I have for this video. I hope you guys find this stuff interesting and perhaps useful. I like to keep covering these +5 items as they progress every single week, and hopefully this is going to be a steady situation in the game, because I'm actually quite enjoying the fact that the game is offering you the option to simply buy all items straight up. Because a lot of times I feel like at the point of where I'm playing this game, I simply realize I don't need to have every unit, and I don't need to build every unit. Building enough units to accomplish what I need them to do is enough. And getting more equipment, vision cards, and espers are probably going to be the way to go moving forward in the future anyways. Although everyone has been saying this for the last 6 months anyways, that you should be concentrating a lot more important things, such as the 3 things that I mentioned, other than simply building more units. So until next time, take care of yourself, all your loved ones. Nashtaters out of here. Take care.